Orlando Magic versus the Cavaliers, Grizzlies versus Pistons, 76ers, Wizards, Nuggets, Clippers. We're going to be talking NBA and NHL. Welcome to the Road to Millions, Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com. Penguins and Lightning, big game in the NHL. Stars and Panthers, Golden Knights, Blues, Hurricanes, Oilers. A lot of great action. We're going to walk through all the props. We got a sneaky play of the day. We got our stat of the day, and then we're going to talk about an Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. It's a single game record. We're going to break it down and see if it can squeak into the Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. Before we get going, you guys know we like to do some positive vibes from the audience, so give us some positive vibes. Hit the like button, leave us a comment, tell us what your best bet is, tell us what's going right for you, tell us what's going good. Love to hear it in the comment section. And Steve, I'm just going to go back to Sunday for positive vibes because it's all about the pay dirt parlay, brother.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Everyone was loving the pay dirt parlay. So we don't hit one all year, and then you hit one halfway through the first quarter. That's just how
Yeah, it was
this crazy game works, huh?
yeah, it was amazing, man. I couldn't believe that when I sent you the message that like through the just in the first quarter we get all three guys, Hill, Laporta, Henry. Henry ends up scoring two. My guy, they can't stop Tyreek though right now. He's like unstoppable right now.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, congratulations. I know we got more than one comment about that one. So, it was a really, really good one. So, congratulations on that one. All right, guys, let's get into some. You know what? Let's just start talking about some NBA and some NHL props. Steve, we got a lot of NBA games. Let's start there. What was one or two that jumped off the page for you?
So one that I'm looking at is Claxton over 23 and a half points plus rebounds and assists. He's had 31 and 37. He's crushed this line twice in a row now against going head to head with Capella with 31 and 37. And the Hawks are 26th in points in the paint. He has the most points in the paint touches on the net, so he's going to get some good looks. And he's just feasted on Capella in these last two games. So that's on my list for today.
Really feasted on Capella. You wouldn't really expect that, would
I
you?
know it is a weird thing to say but he's had his number. He's 31 and 37 the last two head to head. So
Nice, nice. Let's take a look at Nick's Claxton points and rebounds. Zubac was jumping out to me here on. Sorry, let's do all games. Zubac, he's been crushing his point total. They've got it pretty low here. This one jumped out to me, and I know he's going up against Denver, but it's pretty hard to ignore what he's been doing points wise. And I mean, he's the guy for the center. It's one of the we talk about this, like sometimes you just get there just by sheer opportunity. So, I mean, we look at this 12, 18, 14, 23, 11, 11, and 12. So, it's the longest streak of guys playing tonight. Tough matchup, I know, against Denver, but they're going to need him. That's the other thing. When you're playing against a team that's got much more size than you, your big guys play a lot of minutes. So as long as he stays out of foul trouble, I think that's kind of a sneaky one. Now, I know you never want to be involved in a Zubac over, but if the situation presents itself, yeah, might as well go for it. So, what was
yeah,
another one? What's
he's
that?
bit us before with some foul trouble.
Oh, yes,
So
he has.
we've lost some tickets in the past with some foul trouble with him. But he's on my radar as well. But I'm looking on the opposite side as well. And Joker over 12 and a half rebounds. This isn't something I'm going to get to the window with just because it's such a big number. But he did have 16 in his last head-to-head game against Zubac, and he's went over in 8 of his last 9 against the Clippers, 12 of 20 games this season. It's like I said, it's a big number. 12 and a half's a lot. You got to have everything go right. So it's not something I'll get to the window with, but it was on my radar.
When you watch the Clippers and they're just small, like especially when they play a team like the Denver Nuggets, like Paul George and Kawhi. Okay, yeah, I mean I know they're big guys, but not when they're on the same court against the Denver Nuggets. I mean, when you got those guys, when you got Zubac and Kawhi and Paul George going up against Porter and Aaron Gordon and Jokic, it's no contest who's the bigger team grabs the most rebound, and it shows here. I mean, you look at the Clippers defense, 5th in points allowed, okay, great, 10th in assists, 20th in rebounding. They get out rebounded. So I think you're spot on to fade that team when it comes to the rebounds. So there was a couple of 3-pointers that I was looking at. Some guys that were struggling that have a pretty Wiggins. This guy has started to catch fire a little bit, and I wonder if his price is because he was so bad to start the year. Like, look at that. And so you're getting plus money on 1.5 3-pointers, and he's playing Portland. Not exactly known for their for their defense, but it is strange that the second least amount of 3-pointers is the Portland Trailblazers. Really? So
Yeah, that is strange.
yeah, it's straight. But he's gone over in 4 out of 5. So I'm wondering if we're getting a good price just because of what it's been like over the last year. And if you're on props.cash, like if you look, at someone like Wiggins, who hasn't been very good for the season. He's only hit it in 22% of games, but he's hit 80% of the last 5. So it's kind of a recency type thing there. So anything else you were looking at in NBA?
Yeah, I'm looking at also Desmond Bain over 25.5 points. So the last 13 point guards that have faced the Pistons have went over their point totals, and he's so much better on. If you look at his home road splits, he's much better on the road as far as a scorer, better shooter on the road as well. 25.8 points per game on the road, only 21.6 at home. So this being a road game, Pistons giving a boatload of points to opposing point guards. Again, high total, so it's something I try to stay away from those bigger numbers, but I think that Bain is going to get his fair share of shots tonight, and they've been, like I said, 13 straight point guards that went over their total against the Pistons.
Nice. There's a lot of games, but God, there's a lot of bad teams.
Man.
It's a bad match. Like 76ers, Wizards, and Spurs are playing tonight, and some of these teams
Against the T-Wolves, yeah.
Yeah, so that has ass whooping written all over it. So, real quick, guys, before we get going on anything, Customer Appreciation Day, college football play of the week, only $5. So at midnight tonight, this goes up to full price. So grab it now. 11-3 on college football. Really, really proud of the work that both me and Steve have done in college football this year. We stuck to our plan. 1 play a week, and it has just worked beautifully. 11-3. So it's only $5 right now. So grab that because it goes back up to full price tonight. That's at WagerTalk.com. Steve, what do you have up today?
I have an NFL best bet for Thursday night football for tomorrow night's game, and I'm on an 8-4 NFL run, won 8 of the last 12. And that's available at Sports Memo for only $5 till midnight tonight.
Oh, it's going to be a big, I bet your play is like a big over, like an alt line, like over 45.5 for the Steelers and the Patriots. Really going out on a limb. Contrarian play. No, I'm just kidding. That's not his play. It's not his play, for the record. So, do you have anything else in the NBA? I'm treading lightly on NBA. A lot of these teams have been on quite a bit of break, and these matchups have blowout central written all over them, which is, as we know, just throws player props into such chaos. That would be my advice is be careful on props tonight. There's going to be a couple games that are 30-point massacres, and all of a sudden the fourth quarter every starter's sitting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm treading lightly tonight in the NBA as well. I'm going to have a play up, but it's actually going to be a team total. I'm also staying away from the player props. So, I'm looking at even like Maxey over 10.5 rebounds and assists tonight, and he's went over in 13 of 18 games. Wiz bottom 5 against point guards and rebounds and assists. He had 12 in his last head-to-head game with them with only 1 rebound. You got to expect he's going to get more rebounds than 1 tonight, but I'm just so afraid that he's not going to play in the fourth quarter. That game just has blowout written all over it. So again, it's not something I'll get to the window with, but it's a good look. He's went over consistently, but I'm just afraid he won't play in the fourth.
I don't get involved in any props against teams like the Wizards, the Spurs, these teams that can just get blown out. Now, I team totals, I will absolutely look at team totals like over because, like you brought up a good point, like the Wizards. I mean, they just give up points like it's nothing, but a lot of times it can be a bunch of bench guys that come in and get a bunch of. So I have a list of bad teams that I just don't get involved in. I don't want to get stuck when you like that Maxey. I mean, they could be up 30 and he could be sitting there on 10 in the fourth quarter, and he's not wearing his jersey. He's laughing with Embiid on the sideline as they're running out the clock. we've been there. It's a brutal feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. When it gets to overs and player props, if it's a double-digit spread or more, I'm generally going to stay away from that. And it's generally even 8 or more. I'm staying away from that game for as far as overs. And I can't even trust the unders necessarily because sometimes these guys can get there in 3 quarters, and you get it that way. But yeah, the blowout is it's the National Blowout Association, So
Moving to NHL, only 4 games, couple of decent spots. I mean, Edmonton has finally started putting up shots. If you're looking to ride the hot streak here, Bouchard, he's getting it done. Not a ton of points. He's just getting one, but that's all you really need for that prop. That was the big streak of the day. Next one on Edmonton as well. It's a decent little matchup against Carolina. It's kind of interesting. Number 1 in shots on goal, but 16th in goals. That tells you the goaltending's been probably a little bit of an issue there. So, anything you like in NHL tonight?
yeah, I have one player prop that I really like a lot. I'm looking at Alexander Barkov over 2.5 shots on goal. It doesn't have a lot of juice attached to it. I think it's only negative 120 right now. He's went over in 7 of his last 10 games, 4 of his last 5 at home. He's averaging 6+ attempts per game, and Florida is number 2 in shots at home. Dallas allowing the 6th most on the road. So it seems like a good spot for Barkov to go over 2.5 shots on goal tonight. I also agree with you though on the this Edmonton Carolina game. Seems like it's going to be a high scoring game. Over in that one is something that I would look towards. Maybe the Edmonton team total over as well.
Yeah. So, I was looking at Barkov. So, yeah, he's doing a good job on his shots. Points is pretty good, but his assist number is pretty interesting because he started to tail off here. Had a nice little string, but I've noticed he's gone under in 4 out of 6 games, and you're getting at like minus 115. So pretty decent little price on that one. So yeah, other than that, I really didn't have much. I was looking at team totals as well, but I don't know. Team totals in the NHL is starting to get a little squirrely. You're starting to see a little inconsistencies. Maybe some road trips are tripping teams up. I had Vegas Golden Knights to have over 2.5 against the Blues. They had 1. So just kind of some of these mid-season things that we see. So just tread a little bit lightly. I was happy to get home with a parlay last night, but they were unders. So I think I'm looking more towards the under on these points and assist props. So anything else on hockey, or does that do it for us?
Yeah, that's about it for me. But I agree with you on the team totals. I got bit on Colorado last week. I took the team total over. They ended up. I was gonna just take the money line. They ended up winning with 3 goals, and I needed 4. It's so painful when that happens. But yeah, I'm with you on these team totals right now. The Edmonton one is just a lean, but the Barkov one is something I like a lot tonight.
All right, we'll move to the sneaky play of the day. I'm gonna take Derrick Rose, not to have a made 3-pointer. So I know he's starting, but he's not playing more than 30 minutes. 27 was his most. He only attempts a couple 3-pointers per game, and he's 0 for 7 the last 3 games. So, yeah, there's really not much analysis. He's never been known as a 3-point shooter. There's no volume there. So I'll just take him to have another cold night tonight. So maybe make it 0 for 8, 0 for 9. So, Derrick Rose is my sneaky play. I guess it's not that sneaky if he's 0 for 7 the last 3 games.
Yeah, but it's not a direction. That's not a direction a lot of people would be looking, though. That's for sure.
True, and it's plus money. That's the thing I didn't put up here. It's like plus 120. That was
nice.
another thing that jumped out to me. So, yeah, I like that one. So, all right, Steve, your Patriots, man, setting all kinds of records. I guess, are you happy with what they're doing? I would be.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm hoping that they just get the best draft pick that they can possibly get. I would hope they kind of, at this point, finish in last. I wouldn't want them to win games at this point. It's just been a brutal season. But as we see here, the defense has really picked up steam again, even though they've overcome the injuries that they had earlier in the year. But the defense has given up the least amount of points since week 9, 46 points in 4 games, and they haven't won a single game. If you look at the 0-4 in those games, if you look at the next 4 or 5 teams in that category, they all are 4-0. The Colts, your Colts, you're 4-0, 3-0, 3-1, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, right down the list. But this Patriots defense has really overcome those injuries to, Judon and Gonzalez early in the year. Those are their two best defensive players. They lost them in the same week. And just the run defense has been great. They just held the Chargers to 29 yards on 24 carries this past week. That's insane. You got to think that Pittsburgh's obviously going to try to run now, with Trubisky at quarterback. But they've even held the passing game down. The last 3 games, 600 combined passing yards and only 1 touchdown. That's what the last 3 quarterbacks have done against this defense. So pretty impressive by the defense. Unfortunately, you can't win a game when you score 0 points. But fortunate now at this point, I'd say.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, obviously I'm pulling for my Colts and you're pulling for your Patriots. I got to tell you, like, if I was in your position, I would absolutely want my team to lose. I got to say, I like what the Colts are doing. I kind of like that they're scrapping and fighting for wins. It's as a first-year head coach trying to set the tone. So many injuries on defense. I mean, our defense is a freaking shell of itself. And, like, for the Colts, what's the difference for them between getting, like, the number 6 pick and the number 11 pick? Probably not that much. Like, with you guys, though, it's the difference between getting your franchise quarterback and getting, like, another linebacker,
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's interesting that our teams are in completely different places, and I find myself rooting for them to win just naturally. I kind of like the fight, and I know they beat the Titans. Who cares about the Titans? But yeah, I kind of like it. So, but that defense is amazing. Is under on Thursday Night Football the most obvious play on the board? Is that the one everyone's going to get bid on?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's the lowest total since 1993 or something
brutal.
like that.
Yeah.
It's the lowest total. I mean, it makes sense. You look at these two teams and what they've done, and then, I mean, injuries on the Pittsburgh side, and then Patriots dealing with no Stevenson now. So now they've lost essentially their best offensive weapon. But I agree with you though. Patriots, I hope they keep losing, and the Colts, I agree with that too. They keep winning these games, and that's the division they could actually potentially do some damage in. With the Jacksonville injury to Lawrence, Christian Kirk's out for them as well. And let's face it, there's no one in that division that's necessarily like lighting it up. That we've had some flashes where Texans, Jags have looked good, but the Colts could come out of that one.
Can I do my Christian Kirk thing? They're calling it a core muscle injury. Just look up what it really is. It happened to my buddy in high school. If it's I'll just say it, twisted testicles. Twisted testicles together. To this day, he has said it is the most painful thing he has ever experienced in his life.
I bet.
And it's just, I can't imagine. I've never had it happen to myself. But even in the moment when they said something about it, I was like, I know somebody that happened to. And hopefully it didn't require surgery. To my buddy, they had to fix it with the doctor's hand. It's a guy that's in high school. He's a freshman in high school. How awkward is this? like a light bulb. Like changing a light bulb. So, yeah, I would be stunned if Christian Kirk plays this week. Man, that's the toughest guy I know. I'll say that. So, but yeah, how about the Jaguars pulling out all the stops, making their quarterback walk to the locker room with a security guard? I was more stunned with the security guard. Were you more stunned with the lack of cart or with the security guard? Like, what are they, one trainer?
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Why didn't they have the cart for him? You know what I mean? I didn't get that either. Then, yeah, I couldn't. I didn't get it either.
Hey, security guard, could you help our franchise quarterback back to the locker room?
Yeah, no one else could aid in it, could help out there a little bit. Jeez.
Steve, most people know I referee sports. High schools have a cart.
Yeah,
Somebody gets hurt in a high school game, they bring out the cart.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. Why they're just letting them walk down the tunnel like that? It's wild.
So funny. So, all right, guys, hit the like button and leave us some suggestions for Sports Record Hall of Fame. Let's get to today's Sports Record Hall of Fame nominee. Is this one Unbreakable? Most sacks in a game. Derek Thomas, 7 sacks on one quarterback. So, Steve, you picked this one. I'll let you kind of describe it and just kind of what you noticed about this play.
Yeah, so it makes me feel old that the 33 anniversary of this one was just about 3 weeks ago. It was the 33-year anniversary of the day he set this record. And what's crazy about it is he actually has the second most sacks in a game too, with 6. Tied with Umanura, also had 6 at one point. Alden Smith had 5, was the next closest. And yeah, it's just the sacks. So sacks became an official stat in 1982. Was when they first started counting them. And one thing that I found that was interesting was that so legend has it that Norman Wildman Wiley had 17 sacks, 17 sacks for the Eagles against the Giants in 1952. Yep, that's Norman Wildman Wiley with 17. It literally said according to legend.
Okay, all right.
So doesn't make it on the list obviously with this one, but Thomas, man, he was one of my favorite guys back then. He was such a beast, and then obviously the tragic end to his career. You know, he got into the car accident during the off season after 11 seasons, and then passed away 2 weeks later from that. But yeah, 7 sacks in one game. Then he also had 6 to have the 2 top spots in this category is pretty impressive.
How do you get 17? They must have been like playing like Army or Navy or Air Force, where they're just running the option with the quarterback all game long, and you get some behind there. So yeah, I remember.
Yeah, what kind of offensive line was that?
We got some holes to work on in the
got one guy we can't stop 17 times.
All right. So Derek Thomas was 7 in a game. It is impressive. I cannot get there to put this in the Unbreakable. So 5 players now actually have 6. And you got 2 players at 5.5 sacks. Just this season, Steve, Tommy DeVito has been sacked 6+ times. He's been sacked 6+ times in 3 out of the last 4 games, and one of them was 9 times. And Sam Howell has been sacked 6+ times, 3 times this season. And we are seeing are we not seeing some horrific like NFL backup quarterback play? These starters are getting hurt and these backups are coming in, and a lot of them are just terrible. So I just looking at some of these quarterbacks this year with opportunity, I feel like somebody is going to get this record. Maybe it could be a Michael Strahan-esque type thing where Brett Favre.
That's what I thought. I thought of that too.
Yeah, if somebody does that, I could absolutely see this happening in maybe like the last week where one team's playing for something and the other isn't. The other one, contract incentives last week. We've got a big one coming up with Danielle Hunter. If he gets one more sack, he gets a $3 million bonus. So just be alert. That's going to be a prop for this week. Some of these guys, I see a lot of paths to getting to 7. Bad offensive line play, bad quarterback play, and you got 5 players that are almost right there. So as amazing as it is, I can't quite get there to put it in as Unbreakable. I could see somebody breaking this.
I actually agree. It's so impressive, and like I said, he was one of my favorites from back then, and it's so impressive. But you look at it, and a TJ, it would take like a TJ Watt type of guy, somebody who's But I think it's more about the poor offensive line play. You have these teams, a team, an injury or something. Say that you have a team, one of these teams that has the poor offensive line, and then they have an injury in that game, and it just exposes a hole that they can't seal up, essentially. And I agree with you too that if somebody got to the 6 or 7, breaking it, that 7, man, you could tie it, but breaking it's going to be tough to get to 8. But I don't think it just doesn't fit in that mold of like the Ricky Hendersons, the Cy Youngs, the other ones that we have put into the Hall of Fame. It's very impressive, but it doesn't quite make it for me either.
Yeah, second place is just like, on some of those, second place is so far behind. Like the Wayne Gretzky was like, it's like second place isn't even in the same ballpark as this one. You got people, kind of breathing down their necks. And then, you also have the half a sacks now. So, you could, if a quarterback like someone like DeVito gets sacked 9 times, couldn't you see a guy getting like a half sack on a few of them? So, yeah. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, Amazing career, amazing stat, but unfortunately just cannot get to the window on putting Derek Thomas Unbreakable sports record for most sacks in a game. Amazing record, but we have very, very high standards for this team. Very, very high
Yes,
standards.
sir.
So just can't quite get there. So, all right, guys, go ahead and grab that college football play. It's only $5 for the rest of the day. 11-3 on the season. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave us a comment. Tell us what's going good. Leave us a positive vibe in the comment section. Good luck on all your plays, everyone. See you tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.